video games are in danger. A medium so unique in its interactivity, games have evolved from a small entertainment product to one of the most popular forms of digital art. Although the industry has already made billions of dollars, with a considerable increase in sales over the years, video game publishers have slowly been introducing more ways to generate additional revenue on top of ordinary purchases. Contemporary mainstream business models make games more exploitative and also lower their overall quality. In this video, we will take a look at the two essential problems of current video game monetization: cut digital content and microtransactions. At the end, we'll be talking about what we, the consumers, can do about those problems. The first big problem we'll address is cut digital content. This term refers to the practice of deliberately removing content from a game and then selling it back to you for additional money. There are two different ways in which video game publishers try to do this: so-called pre-order bonuses and multiple editions. Let's start with the first one. Nowadays, you can find pre-order bonuses in almost all big games. To ensure purchases months before the actual release, publishers promote their games with special items if pre-ordered. These usually include exclusive costumes, weapons, or physical accessories, and often differ between platforms or even retailers. However, the seemingly free digital bonus content at launch is a misconception. In-game items need to be fully finished during game development in order to offer them at launch, which effectively makes them cut content from the base product. This means that publishers merely try to trick you into thinking that you're getting something additionally by pre-ordering. You are not. Instead, you really only receive what should have naturally been in the game in the first place, while normal buyers get an incomplete experience. Following this business practice, publishers have been trying to increase the value of cut content up to playable missions, characters, or in the case of Metro Last Light, even difficulty settings. Advertising it as the way it was meant to be played, publisher Deep Silver made it clear that standard customers were bound to have an unfavorable experience. Which leads us to the next point. The second way big publishers promote cut digital content is by releasing multiple different versions. What once was just a normal copy of a game is now called Standard Edition. Beyond that, more expensive limited, special, deluxe, or collector's editions are sold to generate more money for exclusive content. As with pre-order bonuses, there is nothing wrong with physical items such as maps, statues, or posters that are exclusive to some customers. Digital content in these editions, however, generally follows the same rule. If it is available at launch, it is cut content. We as consumers are asked to pay additional money for seemingly additional special edition content that has been purposefully removed from the actual game. And even then, some publishers sell this content separately after launch. Those cuts can even go as far as withholding story missions, such as a complete bank heist mission in the Western-themed game Red Dead Redemption 2.
We'll take that.
Compare this to, say, a cinema that sells two different tickets for the same movie. While the standard ticket just gives you normal access to the show, the more expensive ticket might include a better seat or some popcorn. Now, while the benefit of the more expensive ticket is purely physical, nobody would think about touching the actual film itself, and for good reason. Imagine Marvel's famous after-credit scenes were restricted to anyone except premium ticket payers. What seems absurd regarding film has nowadays become the standard for video games. The biggest problem we need to talk about are microtransactions. These are digital purchases, such as vehicles, weapons, outfits, or even virtual currency, that can be bought within the game itself. While pre-order content and multiple editions aim to maximize profit at launch, microtransactions are designed to generate revenue long after the initial release. Originally, microtransactions could only be found in free mobile apps. The idea behind them was reasonable. If people are unlikely to pay money up front for an app, why not offer it for free and then monetize elements within? However, major video game publishers such as Activision Blizzard, Electronic Arts, Take-Two, or Ubisoft have picked up on this trend and incorporated microtransactions into their fully priced $60 products. What once was a way for developers to finance their free mobile apps has been turned into an additional source of revenue for these companies. The standard excuse made by those large organizations is that microtransactions should be regarded as an extra option for customers, or, as Electronic Arts CEO Andrew Wilson puts it, a very important element of choice. But even if you disregard that additionally monetizing an already fully priced game is pretty audacious, this statement is not true. Developers would not place microtransactions in games if they didn't hope to sell them, and in order to sell them, they need to possess some form of noticeable value. This means that when playing a game that contains in-game purchases, even people who don't spend money on them are likely to notice a detrimental effect for not doing so. A recent example of a negative impact on game design is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. While microtransactions, such as progression boosters, remain optional in theory, the overall speed of progression throughout the game has been noticeably slowed down. If players choose to ignore any in-game booster purchases, with the cheapest option starting from $9.99, the game forces its audience to grind through hours of side content before allowing access to the main story again. On top of that, some cosmetic outfits have become increasingly hard to earn to encourage players to purchase them directly with real money. Microtransactions are thus mostly only optional in theory, while having a negative effect on those that don't buy them. Other games, such as Star Wars Battlefront 2, Middle-earth: Shadow of War, and NBA 2K19, have also willingly neglected satisfying game design in favor of more money, and sparked massive controversies each time. Some publishers have even started to silently patch in these purchases after launch in order to avoid a potential clash with the public. Microtransactions are neither just an unfortunate reality when playing a game, as company executives would have you believe, nor are they in any way acceptable in a fully priced product. But even though it seems like the situation is getting worse bit by bit, there is a simple and fair way to purchase video games. So what can you do the next time you consider the purchase of a full-price game with either pre-orders, multiple editions, or microtransactions? Don't pre-order it. In fact, don't buy it. Vote with your wallet. Every time you pay for a video game or microtransaction, you are effectively sending a signal to its publisher that you support everything about the product. You may not actually feel that way, but the numbers on the sales chart won't communicate that to the people in charge. This way, you are involuntarily contributing to a monetization culture that turns games into more incomplete and inferior experiences. And if those companies are allowed to act any way they please, it's only going to get worse in the future. What you can do, however, is buy games in used condition. Pre-owned copies usually already become available a few hours after the official release and come with a cheaper price. By buying used games, you won't be registered as a content customer and publishers won't benefit from your purchase. You can also let these companies know why you're boycotting their products directly or on platforms such as Reddit and Twitter. This method works. Time and time again, video game companies such as Electronic Arts or Microsoft have reversed financially motivated decisions in fear of financial failure or public outrage. It's time to take advantage of our power as consumers, or soon, we'll be asked to pay every time Mario falls into a pit.